Alright, GameLeapers, what's going on? This is Iggs in today's video. 10 champions who are played. Don't get me wrong, these champions are known to be pretty good, but I think they should be known a lot more. I think they should be played a lot more because they have really good stats and they do really well as some of even the best champions in the game. It's just the fact that no one really plays them either like they should or plays them enough to really see the actual dividends here. So we're going to get into some of these details in this video, and the 10 champions, of course, if you want to know who they are, make sure you stick around for the whole thing. But guys, like, you can know the builds and all this stuff for these champions. You're still going to play them at the elo level you are in right now. You need to play them like a challenger to climb at the elo you're in, and guess what? We can teach you how to do just that on our website at GameLeap.com, because our challenger players and coaches, they're so nice. Every single one of us has been there in lower elos and we've climbed out of it using the stuff that we teach you on our website. So why not join thousands of others who are actual frothing the content and getting access to it? So just click on one of those links down below, get signed up, and GG, well played, you're going to climb. Now, let's get into the actual countdown, yeah? So starting us off, we're going to start in the bot lane. We've got two champions here. The first of these is Varus. Now, some of you might be playing like Ginsu's Varus, maybe even like a Lethality Varus, which can work, into champions who really don't appreciate range. So something like maybe a Karthus, some like a mobile AD carries, right? They're going to struggle into it, but for the most part, the best version to play Varus is almost like how you play Kai'Sa. Exactly the same rune setup, as you can see here with Hail of Blades, and then you want to be rushing Static Shift, even though there's not that much AP in the item anymore. The wave clear is insane, and the actual movement speed you get from the item is really useful for your kite because you are an auto attack champion where you're going attack speed AP Varus, and then you're getting Nash's Tooth into Sorcerer's Shoes. So no mythic in your first 3 items. So the reason for this is because these items now are good, right? And AP Varus has been buffed like, you know, for seasons now. Even though it hasn't been that explicit, he's always had like AP buffs in the patches he's been buffed in. When you pair this with Sorcerer's Shoes, this gives you the penetration you need. And then when you buy something like Crown of the Shattered Queen, which to be honest might even be a better mythic objectively than Riftmaker here, it's a really OP setup. This is amazing into close range team compositions where you're going to auto attack a lot because your DPS is out of this world. It might even be the highest in the game with this setup. Just remember, guys, you are maxing your W first because of the AP in this, and then your Q and then your E. And if there are any Varus mains out there, let me know if you've tried this setup, and if you haven't, make sure you try it and let me know down below in the comment section just how it went. Now, another AP champion, guys, who you can play as an AD carry is kind of like a budget Karthus. This is Swain. Now, the reason Karthus, or one of the big reasons Karthus is so strong at the moment, is because Lost Chapter is 1100 gold. And then if we think about Swain, it's the same thing, right? You're going Lost Chapter into Leandra's Anguish. Now, Swain I don't think is as OP as Karthus, but he did get a buff, right? Like last patch, like his Q or something. So Swain is doing a lot better just across the board, and with a Q max, this is actually a very dangerous setup in the bot lane. With the engage meta as well, pair Swain with like a Nautilus or something, and he's going to crush it. If the enemy champions as well are those close range champions and AD carries who like to get their heads in there, Swain is going to be amazing, of course, because we all know what happens when you get too close to a Swain. So Swain is another bot laner you guys can think about including into your champion pools in 13-13 and beyond. Now, moving into the mid lane here, guys, we have 2 champions. The first of these is an AD champion, this being a Duskblade abuser, Qiyana. Now, I understand that in most elos, right, Qiyana's win rate is going to be around 48-49%. Reason being is because she's difficult to play. You know, watching Bayfang play Qiyana is going to be different to watching Ben the Flower Pot Man in NA Silver. I understand that. But what we're talking about here is getting the maximum juice out of a champion. And when you can on Qiyana, pair this with Duskblade because of all the recent buffs of this item, so the actual damage threshold and the damage you're dealing, which has been amplified, it's kind of nutty. The untargetability as well is so busted on a champion like Qiyana because you go in, use all your spells to one-shot someone, and then you're untargetable, allowing you to then use your W again, especially your brush W, so you can go invis and buy time for the rest of your cooldowns. It's an amazing setup. The laning phase, you do have to know what you're doing though, so again, we'll teach you how to do that just on our website. So again, guys, make sure you check out the links down below. Now, one champion who, to be honest, I thought was just going to be completely dead in 13-13 because of the static shift nerfs, this is LeBlanc. But funnily enough, guys, even though there's like most of the AP anyway has been like taken out of static shift, it's just the fact that AD LeBlanc in a way, like when you're running fleet with attack speed, or I should say like attack speed LeBlanc, it's actually really good mid lane. Even though you're still maxing your W with this setup, it's just the fact, like I mentioned for Varus, right? You're getting the wave clear still with the actual like electrical thing, and then you're also getting the movement speed and actual potential to deal more damage with auto attacks now. This means as well that you can save your W most of the time to engage onto the enemy champion because that's what you want your distortion for. You don't want to have to use your distortion into a minion wave, right? You want it for the enemy champion. And we can see that in Challenger across the world, LeBlanc is still banned in over 34% of games because of how annoying this still is, and has a 50% win rate, and she's classified therefore as an S+ tier mid laner. In other elos, this isn't going to be the case, so make sure sure you guys are copying the rune page you see on your screens now. And also, apparently you're meant to go Night Harvester and not Ludens or whatever they were building before. Reason being is because you're taking presence of mind. You should have enough mana, guys, to navigate through those early trades, and once you do get to Night Harvester, it's really about one-shotting people anyway, and you should be able to do just that with the damage you're getting from this. Now, moving into the jungle here, we have 3 champions. The first of these is Kayn. Now, honestly, guys, I don't really care if you're playing like blue or red Kayn. As long as you're building a Duskblade, like, you're probably sweet, right? So if you're going Conqueror Kayn or red Kayn with Duskblade, you can seriously do this into like Manamune and then Black Cleaver potentially. And if you're going blue Kayn, of course, you're going to be going Duskblade, Manamune, and then whatever else after that, depending on the enemy team you're against, right? So you might go Grudge if they have a bunch of armor. You might go Edge of Night if they're very skill shoddy. You can even go Serpent's Fang, Axiom Arc if you're really snowballing, right? There's a bunch of options for you. You can see these stats in Challenger Elo across the world. In over 600 matches, Kayn has over a 52% win rate. This is legit an S+ tier champion. He is a difficult champion to master though and learn, so again, we can teach you how to actually reach this level on our website, so make sure you don't miss out. Now, next jungler. This is a jungler who, well, for the most part is being played as an AP champion. This being Udyr. So if you're going, you know, Demonic Embrace in a Jack show, no worries, it's pretty decent. But what's better, and you look at the stats here for me, is actually getting Triforce on Udyr. It has a higher win rate. Yes, there's less games, I understand that, but it has close to 0.5% better win rate. And the reason for this is because Triforce is just so broken right now, yeah? It is legit defining the meta. Like the League Reddit should say League of Trinity Force. If you're a champion who can build this item, you're going to be frothing the game. You're going to be winning more games. So until they nerf this item, honestly, guys, like you should abuse it on Udyr. Yes, you should probably classify if that's what you want to do. Classify in champs like, look guys, I'm going AD Udyr, so your team can build around this and actually have the AP, because they probably think you're going AP. So this is a really good setup if you're going something like Steris Gauge after this, if you're going something like Dead Man's Plate because you want the stickiness and maybe tankiness, no worries, everything's going to work as long as you have Trinity Force. This champion is actually really underrated. Now the final jungler to talk about is a champion who's abusing another item that got buffed recently. This is Nocturne, and the item of course is Stridebreaker. Now to be honest, from a jungler's point of view, like Nocturne, I think he's an amazing all-around champion and should be picked way more. So look at these stats for me. He's picked in just over 2% of games, but has very good win rate. Yes, he might be an A-tier champion because he's not picked and, you know, banned that much. All right, he's not the most prolific champion in the game, but if you always look at the stats for Nocturne, he always does very well, and there are very few weaknesses for this champion. He's very good at level 3, he has a very strong level 6, if not the strongest level 6 in the game. If you can jungle well, bro, like you're gonna pop off. I don't know why he's not played more, and with Stridebreaker, the buffs recently, 60 attack damage instead of 50, plus 10 AD is massive for this champion. You can still go Bruiser, but you're getting more damage in your combo. So I think Nocturne is a great champion, and honestly, like if I'm jungling, man, I would probably have him in my champion pool. Now the final 3 champions, guys, in this video, these are all top laners, but the first of these you can play in the jungle. So if you want to play a champion who's going to cuck every single champion in the game with a dash, it's time to pick Poppy. But in the top lane, look at these stats for me in Challenger. They are actual cracked. In over 500 games, a 56.25% win rate. You're joking. Now they put more damage in her kit, right, based on HP, and guess what, in the top lane, lots of champions have HP, right? So Poppy becomes even better as a top laner. You can also see that when people run Ignite Poppy, well, it has over a 73% win rate. It might not be a lot of games, I understand that, but this is in Challenger, and 15 games is still enough to like gauge whether something is going to be like over 50%, and of course this will be. So your laning potential, I mean, I don't really think you should be maybe like blind picking Poppy. As a counter pick, she'll be amazing, and yeah, when you counter pick her, you're strong in lane, so you can pick Ignite to completely dumpster them, not just beat them. So I think this is a really underrated pick, and I think you should definitely consider picking her when you see one of those trolls picking like Camille or Jack's blind pick, you know, those popular top laners. Poppy absolutely stomps them. Now, next top lane to think about, if you want AP in the top lane, guys, the changes to Rumble recently have actually made him, well, in Challenger anyway, they've increased his win rate and his performance, right? So if we look here in over 400 matches, over a 53% win rate, classified as an S tier champion. The extra danger zone you have is really the key to this, so trying to keep Rumble above 50%, that means you're going to be able to deal more damage with your abilities, of course, and stay in that longer now because it is bigger. By going something like Night Harvester as well, then into Demonic Embrace, Demonic, you know, it's kind of like an AP bruiser item. This is important because Rumble's stuff now really benefits from HP more than it did before. Also in the top lane, think about champions you're against, they're going to be building HP. So honestly, Demonic is kind of necessitated by just playing in the top lane. But Rumble, I think, is a great top laner to pick, especially if you have like some sort of CC jungle. Pair this with your equalizer, GG, well played. Just make sure you're not picking too much AP as part of your team composition. The final top laner, guys, to talk about is probably like one of the best counter picks in the game. You can probably blind pick her, but it might be a little bit difficult against specific champions. But yeah, this is Quinn, and I know you guys are thinking, well, you know, is it Quinn with what, the new Storm Razor? This is actually Quinn with Static Shiv, then into Gale Force, right? I'm sure if there are any top laners out there, you know that one of your biggest nightmares is playing against a Quinn, especially if you're playing a melee champion. There is literally nothing you can do, bro. Now, there are certain builds where you can go Gale Force, but you can also go Ghostblade as your second item. Kraken Slayer is good as well. So it really depends on like what you're against. If you're against champions who are going to build, you know, armor, going Ghostblade and Lethality, probably not the best idea. Going something like Gale Force into Lord Dominus Regards sounds a lot better. If you're going into someone who's really squishy and a team who's really squishy and you're snowballing out of control, feel free to go this Lethality setup. But the key here is actually just to rush Static Shiv on Quinn. So those were, guys, the 10 low-key broken champions for 13-13. Again, if you've played any of these with these setups, let us know in the comment section just how good they felt. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like down below. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future Season 13 uploads. And yeah, this has been Coach Jigs. Bye.